I like to plant little seeds amongst my videos, amongst the meaning of things I'm saying. I like to leave little traces that interlace quite nicely. So, like, for example, if you haven't noticed, like, a lot of my videos are very... I would say that they're centered around a serious topic, but they're quite facetious in the delivery. They make a bit of a joke out of certain things, like the start of the If Gambit, like, you know, making it a dumb, cringy thing about the whole, the apocalypse is on us, people. You know, that I'm trying to deliver things in a way where you're going to see that I'm not trying to have some sort of agenda other than just self-growth and positivity for the community. It's a very simple but powerful message. That regardless of what you've done in your life, as long as it hasn't been something too heinous like some sort of murder or severe crime, you can rebuild and start again in a lot of instances. In most instances, in fact, even in the instances where you have done something horrible like that, people have been able to repent and share the reasons for why they did it and like come to terms with who they were and who they want to be. And there's always hope to be better. Now, like a bunch of the stuff I'm touching base on is because, you know, as I said, I've done meticulous note-taking over my life and the things I've done and the places I've been. And, you know, if you were just to read the notes, like, if you were to read the notes and things, it's going to look like gobbledygook. And that's why I take my time to refine things, put them into a script, go back over things, because, like, in a heat of the moment brainwave, where I wake up at, like, midnight and realize something about my life, I might just quickly scribble it down and then go back to sleep. Now, the biggest things I'm going to be touching base on in my video about myself is sort of how I realized all the connections in my life started to make sense once I accepted the fact, not just got diagnosed, but accepted the diagnosis of the fact that I'm autistic. And I have ADHD. But I grew up in a time, you got to remember, I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, and this stuff's only become frame of contact. This has only become, like, into the spotlight in the last 5 to 10 years, like, heavily in the spotlight. And the world's become a much more accepting place, but there's still quite the negative stigma behind having those things attached to you, because that's essentially what people are scared of. They're scared of being labelled. They're scared of having something define who they are without consenting to that definition. There's a reason why, psychologically, being called something you aren't upsets you so greatly, because if it actually isn't how you identify yourself, it's going to very internally upset you. And coming to acceptance of who you are and what you're all about and what you want to achieve in your life is a really, really big part of recovery, and it's a really big part of accepting that diagnosis. It's a really big part of coming to terms with who you are. Because if you can't come to terms with who you are, you're gonna live a life, in a lot of respects, dishonestly. Whether that be with yourself or with other people, and dishonesty is the fostering ground for any kind of mental health issue. Dishonesty, lack of awareness to yourself, lack of awareness to your community, lack of understanding as to what you're saying, how you're saying it. All of these things coincide with each other really well because they provide, and they are intricate details as to who you are as a person, how you present yourself, and how you want to be perceived. Now, it took me a really long time to get past the fact that I shouldn't just be chasing millions of dollars as success. I grew up in a household where we're always sort of scraping by. And they always did an amazing job of raising me and giving me everything I ever wanted. Like, don't get me wrong, I was a spoiled kid, for sure. But I always saw the struggles my parents went through, especially when my mum got sick and she couldn't work anymore. And, you know, and watching dad work as much as he did. And even now, myself working 2 jobs just to make sure I can financially commit to, like, all the stuff in my life that I'm trying to commit to. I now understand from their perspective even more and have so much more gratitude for the life I was given when I was younger, because that stuff doesn't always make sense to you when you're a kid, obviously, because you have no understanding of monetary value or risk versus reward or what what the cost of things actually is in the long-term scheme of every other responsibilities we have in life. So, you know, I just thought I'd quickly touch base because the Jesus was a salesperson. What If Gambit is live, and it's satirical in a sense where it's just to try to shift your perspective. I'm not trying to get you to question your faith. I'm also not trying to get you to become of a certain spiritual understanding or a certain spiritual belief. Like, I'm not about that. I couldn't care less. My entire point is we can all coincide and live in the same world, and we can all get along better, and we can all just provide a bit more empathy and compassion. And that there's a reason why crime rates and suicide rates and like all those horrible mental health statistics are on the rise, and they are always rising because we also have a focus on the negative. But the thing is, what we talk about creates a narrative and creates, again, a fostering ground for what we're already talking about. It's almost the opposite effect of self-affirmation. If you talk down to yourself, you will naturally decline. If you talk down about your community, if you don't give people the right message of what you're trying to achieve in life, and I'm going to put the pen away because I keep clicking it. I'm sure that's annoying. But if you don't do the right things and spread the right message, you may just end up going about things horrendously the wrong way than you ever anticipated you actually end up doing, and you deserve to start again, just like I have, just like I've done hundreds of times in my life. And unfortunately, every step of the way, I could never take responsibility for the lives I'd already told about myself or about my situation, just to make myself feel better about who I was. And in that respect, there was a lot of things that I would say just to try to be that social chameleon aspect of one of the other videos I mentioned, one of the other videos I've talked about. Being autistic and growing up as a little nerdy boy, you know, there's some pretty clear signs that were just put down to the fact that I was just a bit strange in a lot of ways. Like, I've got a clear obsession with Nintendo and Dragon Ball Z, and I've never been able to let go of that. Ever since I started playing World of Warcraft, literally 20 years ago or something now, like something absurd, I haven't been able to stop playing it. I've always come back, every expansion. I don't think I've ever deviated unless I've just had the financial commitment or I've had like some other massive distraction in my world making it impossible. But you know, things like taking language literally. The words you use matter, especially to people that are of a different social perspective than you are. Like, the context of our verbiage, our vocalization, our pace, our pitch, these are all sales tactics, they're psychology tactics, but they're really important for articulation and base communication. If you say things even slightly too aggressive, someone's going to think that you're saying it because you have an issue. If you say things too soft, someone's going to think you're not confident enough. There's just so many ways, and there's so many things I kind of overlooked about my life that I needed to come to terms with. And that was things like all of the really common traits of autism, like social situations made me uncomfortable, loud noises, even though I was the source of most loud noises. Why do you think that was? Because I was overstimulated, and I wanted to create as much noise as what I could hear in my brain to calm my brain down, to balance things out. I still do it to this day. Who else walks around with headphones blasting? Because it's the only way you can concentrate when you're in a supermarket, or when you're in a shopping center, or when you're at a game of some description, or at the gym, or there's so many things that register on the spectrum because it's a spectrum. Just because I say I'm autistic doesn't mean I'm going to be non-verbal and not able to communicate my basic needs. But it might mean I have social anxieties. It might mean I have issues transitioning to new tasks. It might mean I need a bit more warning before you're going to pick a fight with me on something, because otherwise my fight or flight response is going to trigger and you're either going to get a lot of aggression or I'm going to freeze. So there's just so much that goes into it. And that's kind of why I'm trying to spread that awareness, because I was trained as a salesperson. So as soon as I turned 18, I became really charismatic, but 16-year-old me that worked at Coles? I didn't know how to socialize. There's a reason why most of my friends all through high school were girls, except for like the really nerdy fellas that I was friends with that we played games with each other at the library and stuff that I'm still friends with to this day. But the reason why I mostly liked being around women was purely because they were less confrontational, less physically aggressive, less loud. So it was just calmer for me. And like, there's just so many things in terms of self-reflection that I've come across in my journey that I'm like, wow, I want to share this because that's amazing. Now, that's where my whole Freudian versus Adlerian pathology comes into it, because you should focus on the past. You should focus on your trauma. You should figure out why, when, how it happened, what you're repressing. But then you need to find the middle ground. You find a point of acceptance, find a point of being able to move past it, work out your flaws, things that cause issue for you in your world, and then find a way to move past them. Accept them for what they are, that it shouldn't have happened to you, or you're still dealing with it. And yeah, okay, it's obviously not that easy. It's going to take some serious work. You're going to need to develop yourself emotionally, psychologically, and you're going to have to work on your things like your stability, self-regulation, self-reflection, so that you don't keep causing deflection. It all makes sense once you give it the opportunity to get to the end of the information that I'm trying to share. So please, give it a go. Look at the things I'm talking about. Listen to the words I'm using. Google the people I talk about, because there is merit behind all of it, and I've meticulously planned all of these subjects. And yes, okay, sometimes I might get the script wrong, but the message is going to remain clear. Work on yourself. Be accountable for what you're responsible for. Be responsible for what you should be accountable for. Listen to your community. Respect the people around you. Hear people when they're trying to say things. Look past initial communication and find the actual density of what you're trying to communicate. You will be more successful in life. Find your core values. Find your reason to do something. And you will get past, change, figure out anything you need to do. Watch it. Watch. This is my conviction. Watch this space. This time next year, I'm going to be jacked. Because this is the first time I haven't had to rely on substances or any kind of horrible, addictive feeling like smoking a bunch and training twice a day and avoiding my life. Like, this is the first time that I honestly believe that I can do things with a level head, solely as myself, and just get to the next level. So, my conviction to you is, I'm still going to be making videos a year from now. My conviction to you is, I'm still going to be caring about my local community. A year from now, I'm going to still be reaching out to business owners, trying to get interviews happening with people that share the same message as me. And that message is simple but powerful. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to start again. Don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in, as long as you can still show empathy and compassion for everyone else's life journey. And that's it, brother. It's as simple as that. And I will share with you every little bit of knowledge I've developed over the years to make my life, as someone who was awkwardly existing to now awesomely autistic, as one of the best salespeople in the world, who just loves to play video games and watch Marvel movies and spend time with his dog and do whatever's best for my routinely enjoyed things, like go to the gym. It's a pretty great life, man. It's all I'm trying to share, is being true to yourself. That's the cure. That's the cure right there for your anxiety, your depression, your mental health. Being real and genuine about what you need and want in life and how to get there. Creating a roadmap, analyzing yourself and your situation, reflecting on your journey, and then commit to it. Just like a sales cycle. Prospect what you want in your world. Work out what you need to do to get there. Sell the dream to yourself, brother. Sell the dream! And never give up. Not for one moment. Because you deserve it. if you're willing to start again and do it properly, you deserve to make it. And we all will. Because the only goal is just to be a better version of you, so you're already doing it every day. It's a Modcast podcast!